Dennis Schroeder is their third leading scorer. LeBron, AD, Schroeder, they don't have leading scores 2 and 3. How concerned are you?
Well, look, I think this team will bounce back. Obviously, them playing against the Utah Jazz, their next game, if Dennis Schroeder is still not available, it's going to be a loss. But here's the real question you have to start asking yourselves if you are Frank Vogel or Rob Pelinka. How do you manage LeBron James minutes? How many games do you sit him out? You have to start thinking load management for LeBron. I do not think seeding is as important in this race. I mean, look, obviously you don't want to play to a degree against Utah. You'd rather have Utah play the Clippers, but with no fans in the stands, it doesn't really matter. It makes sure that LeBron James is healthy and ready to go and fully rested when you get to that point of the season. So you have to start building in some strategy for him to get some nights off. James Harden has a legit shot to win this whole thing, to win MVP of this whole thing. It is his numbers with the way Kevin Durant has been out. Think about this, Key. He went from forcing his way out of Houston, gaining 30 pounds, honey buns.
Allegedly.
Do whatever he wanted to do to get his way out, okay? Forced his way out. Gets to the Brooklyn Nets and has been having an MVP-like season thus far with the Nets. KD's been hurt, which means that James Harden has to shine more. And here's what worries me about on the other side is that I said LeBron James has a chance to run away with this MVP award, but also while you're doing this, when AD is out, you're playing LeBron James at these crazy minutes. I mean, he played 43 minutes last night. Now, I know we always say that LeBron James is superhuman and that he's a machine and there's no signs of him wearing down, which only makes it more incredible if he's able to sustain this type of pace, which I wouldn't advise them to do as a franchise after the All-Star break. I think you have to think more long-term with LeBron. But it makes you start to think, wow, okay, KD's out, James Harden trending up, LeBron James with AD out, but do you want to scale back his minutes just a little bit to make sure that LeBron James is ready when it gets chance, when AD does come back so they can hit full steam at the right time in order for them to win their second NBA championship back-to-back for LeBron James? That's a major legitimate question you have to ask yourself if you're Rob Pelinka or Frank Vogel.
Well, I think you take your cue from the player, though, Jay. And if LeBron feels like he can still go at a 36-minute type pace, then you allow him to do it. He's there for his teammates, like he said. He's not there to worry about load management. He's there to continue to get those guys better, continue to keep pushing. And everybody understands that not having Schroeder in and not having AD there with them, things are going to be a little more difficult. In terms of James Harden, I mean, all he was doing was playing possum. I mean, we joked around and said 30 pounds allegedly, whatever it looked like, right, in that uniform. It looked like he had a lot of chicken and honey buns and lemon peppers, extra crispy, all flats. It looked like that. He switched to uniforms the next day. It looked like he took off a fat man suit. And he's been cooking ever since. But that's who he's a professional. And when you get professional players like that that's been consistent throughout their career, he could turn on a switch and go back to the norm with no problem at all.
I'm just saying, I know LeBron said it last night, Zubin, he doesn't believe he needs more rest. But this is where it becomes extremely interesting for Frank Vogel, right? At this stage of LeBron James' career, he's never going to not say no. He's going to want to play every game. And Key, you and I have talked about this. Sometimes you need that coach to say, hey, I need to help you get out of your own way if it's not in the best long-term interest of where we need to be. Granted, you're going to take LeBron James' cue to a certain point, Key, to a certain point where you're like, look, I need you to save a lot of that gas that you're exerting right now for the long run, which is down the stretch, because that's when you need it the most.
You and I may feel that way at times, but LeBron's best basketball comes in the end and in the playoffs. So even though he's playing all these minutes, his best stuff is always later, no matter how many minutes he's playing. So we may look at it, or you may look at it and say, well, he needs to save some gas. No, he does. He got a couple tanks. He's good to go. And that's the way he feels.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.